Okay, so it is 5:05 p.m. on Wednesday, April 29th. I'd like to call the Board of Health meeting, Douglas Board of Health meeting to order. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Bob.
Hello.
Hello.
I can barely hear you. It must be my computer, my setting. I'm not going to change it now, but I'll just pay attention. Okay, so everybody looks well. That's good. We'll go to the agenda. We have, what do we have?
COVID-19 update.
Okay, yeah, we have COVID-19 update. First on the agenda.
Yes, so as of today, we have 20, so far we have 27 cases, but only 9 of them are active cases right now. So we received.
Could you repeat that, please? Because I didn't quite get it. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
No worries.
Okay.
So right now we have 9 active cases in Douglas. We got 3 new cases this week.
We lost him.
Okay. Oh, we cannot hear you.
You have no volume now. Uh-oh.
Did you actually mute yourself? I said, did you accidentally mute yourself?
Can't hear him.
Oh no,
He doesn't have the mute button on. His mic's not working.
Anybody read lips?
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Bob, on your computer, you should be able to turn the volume up.
Uh-oh.
I think he said, I know, I'm trying to do that.
Yeah, somehow his audio got shut off. I don't know how to turn it back on. You might be better off to leave the meeting and come back.
Should we leave? Oh, wait a minute.
Can we unmute him? Can someone unmute Bob?
No, it's not his mic. It's just
No, he just muted himself on the computer.
Back in the day, we used to use 2 cups and a string.
No, we still can't hear you. Oh.
Okay, did you read that note?
Yeah. Yeah, he tried to unmute him, but it didn't work.
Yeah, he said that Bob was overriding the cable.
Somehow. Bob, can you hear us?
Czy naprawdę wyjść na żywo na meeting?
For now, should we just have Agnieszka keep talking with her update?
I can call him, put him on speakerphone. Would that work?
Oh yeah, that works.
was wondering, when he bent over, did he unplug something?
That's what I was thinking.
Hi, do you want to stay on speakerphone and just stay on? Okay, let me put you on speaker. Hold on. Okay. You're
All
good?
good?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that, folks. Double here.
Mhm.
Is that better?
Yeah, Kristen, you might just have to go on mute so we don't hear the echo.
Okay.
Or Bob, you might have to mute yourself actually. On the computer.
Come again, I'm sorry. I'm getting double.
Oh, I feel like now we can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
No, mute yourself on your computer. There's a mute button.
Oh,
Then you shouldn't hear double.
okay. How's that?
That's better.
Mhm.
Let's go with that.
Yes. So let's continue. Can you hear me, Bob?
Yeah.
Okay, so like I said, last week was a little bit slower. So we didn't get as many cases, and I was really excited about this. But it looks like it picked up a little bit this week. So we got 3 new cases. Hopefully we won't get much more, but I am able to contact every single case. I was able to identify their contacts. So active cases are in isolation and their contacts are in quarantine. So far so good. We don't need any help from outside. I am able to.
Yep. Hold on.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, that's better.
Okay.
That's
So
much better. Can you hear me?
just to add to this, I attend like webinars every week. There is 2 from Maven, which are really good because they keep changing, adding stuff every week. So twice a week, they have a webinars when explain how it should be done, how we should use webinar and new tools they keep adding.
Okay.
And also there's another one for Board of Health, for local boards of health, which I also attend, like listen to the webinar every week. So that's
Okay.
great source of information for me.
How are we doing on supplies? We okay?
There was no really need for us to touch any of our supplies so far.
Okay.
So we still have them, but we have to remember those supplies are still from H1N1 era.
I see.
Oh.
I have to admit that I did take some.
Yes, that's okay. You know what? I'm talking about N95 masks. Those surgical masks, we don't worry about those.
Okay.
But I feel like when eventually we'll have to donate this stuff if we're not gonna use it, and get new supplies after this is over, because
Okay.
like this is stuff 10 years old.
Right.
Which was sitting in the storage room. So we will
Well,
have
it serves the purpose, right?
you know what? Anything is good now.
Sure. Okay.
So if someone needs, like if our firefighters needs them, or ambulance, EMTs, we have plenty to share with them.
Okay. Everybody looks marvelous but me.
No, I think you look good. I think your video is great.
Okay. Are there any questions? Anything that we have to add to this? Or?
Do you want to talk about the face coverings, the face masks?
Sure. Oh yes, absolutely. You had the report, Kristen, from Ray. He sent you the information, I should say.
Well, actually, this was from Chief Miglianico
Okay.
regarding face masks and how some towns are mandating it.
Right. You say you had mentioned Uxbridge.
Northbridge.
Northbridge is mandating it?
No, Northbridge is not. Uxbridge is
Uxbridge
mandating
is,
it.
yeah.
Yep.
So we had talked about how we felt about it and, you know, what direction we should go in. Anybody would like to, you know, you know, give us your ideas, in other words.
Is this, are the face masks for just like people walking around, or is this specific to like food prep or something?
I think it's for anybody, like entering a place of business or
So like, if you walk into Harry's,
it's whatever you, I guess you can, the local board of health can mandate whatever they want.
The trouble is enforcing that
Right.
mandate. That's the problem. It's not so much that we can, you know, we can say that, yeah, Douglas Board of Health, we can't say does not permit the use of, the non-use of masks going into whatever establishment. The thing is, again, it all goes back to what we can enforce and what we can enforce.
that document said that they can enforce it. If we choose to go that way.
But my point is this, Corey. If we say, okay, you have to do this, they take us to court. You know, what leg do we have to stand on? You know,
I'm pretty sure that was a legal document the chief sent. I think that was
That's correct.
governor, that it's local board of health's vote. I mean, I'm not saying that I think people should, but I think he said if local board of health's vote it, then cops can reinforce it, and it's up to a $300 fine.
Yeah.
there is a fine behind it.
Yeah.
If you choose to put it there, yeah.
Yeah, I think they said, I think pretty sure the document said something like, obviously there would be a warning, there would be a polite asking for you to wear a mask, and then a ticket would be issued. That would go on your license. You know, the cop would issue you a ticket that would be attached to your license. So there was a whole section. It was I don't know, second page, maybe halfway down or so.
Oh, really? I didn't even get it. So, I mean, I'm not blaming Kristen because my computer is not. I don't know what's going on, but
Yeah, there was a section that sort of touched base on like the consequence for non-compliance, but
yeah. Well, I mean, if we can enforce it, then, you know, I guess we can set standards too, you know?
right. I mean, I don't even think
My
we would have
question
to enforce it.
Because I was listening to some conversation, other towns were talking about it. And they said that some towns ordered the people who prepare the food to wear the masks, but you have to deliver the order by yourself directly to them. So it had to be, the order had to be delivered in person.
Okay, yeah.
Some towns had the issues with that. You know, we don't have as many businesses. But will we require people walking my street wearing a mask, or like, you know, we live in woods. Like,
I don't.
No, that seems too much.
I can understand people handling food or people serving food or that type of thing. I can see that, but I just can't see wearing a mask, you know,
Walking the dog.
Down. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous. Although I do look better in a mask.
Right. I mean, it would be different if we were in Boston walking our dog underneath triple deckers all the way down the road. But where, like you say, I mean, there's 2 acres per house lot, a lot of them, you know, in town, and that's a lot of space between everybody. So I think now, is it different? I mean, if I order a sub from Douglas House of Pizza, right? Douglas House, that place is all of about 6 feet by 8 feet wide. If I walk in there, I mean, do I want to order a sub from there and have those guys not wearing masks and then walk in there and have somebody else walk in not wearing a mask? I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know about, well, like you had mentioned, I don't know about going in there and somebody preparing my food without a mask. In this day and age, it's kind of, you know, it's kind of scary.
And then when you're waiting, what happens, right? When I'm sitting there.
Yeah, exactly. You have to wait outside, probably.
I was gonna say, I think people should try to wait outside or at least 6 feet apart.
Right. I went by a pretty popular. It's a kind of a grinder shop or a sandwich shop in Worcester, And that's pretty much what they did. They had a person outside taking the orders and going back inside, preparing, and then bringing the orders out. So remotely, that would work. But I don't know. I feel that, yeah, handling food, they should have masks.
Mhm.
Sure.
I
Now,
agree.
would that be up to the owner of the place? Like, you know, Joe doesn't want to let people into his place without a mask. Is that his discretion, or is that us? I mean, do we want to make that choice and say if you go into one of those businesses?
I think he can enforce that. I think that, you know, you go to a market, they tell you you can do this or you can't do that or this or that, whatever. That's his store. That's his market. I guess he can set the rules, right?
Mhm.
Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would think so. So, do we want our rules to stop at people preparing food?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the line that we stop at for now?
I think
And then,
anybody that's handling food should have a mask. Anybody that's delivering the food should have a mask.
yeah,
Certainly, it can be just as dangerous, you know.
but not residents picking up their food. Not residents walking into Harry's Pizza to pick up their food. They don't need a mask.
Oh, they should. Yes, yes.
So, do we want to require anybody going in and out of a business to be wearing a mask? Is that what we're?
Well, it depends on what business it is. What kind of business are you talking? Any kind of business?
I mean, in Douglas, we're predominantly food, anyways. I don't think we.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, we
Or
got.
like the gas station.
Yeah, the gas
Gas
stations.
station?
The convenience stores.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right,
Yeah. Yeah.
right. Where do we stop?
Right now, I guess right now, if you're open for business, it's mainly, like you would say, Corey, food establishments, right?
Pretty much convenience stores.
Yeah.
Harry's.
Now, what about if they open, say, a beauty parlor or a haircut, barber?
Right. Then who wears masks?
Well, that's not
everybody-
essential now.
No, it isn't
Yeah.
now, but.
But when they do reopen, now there may be regulations to help guide us once that happens.
Yeah, I suppose.
So you're gonna have to write an emergency regulation for this, so we can get it to the police.
Okay.
So what are we gonna want it to? I mean, how far do we want to go? Do we just want the people preparing food, touching food? Is that it, or do we want people walking into those places to have a mask too?
I would say all employees for food establishments must wear masks, right?
Where food is being prepared
Where food is being prepared or handled.
and handled. Okay. So
Sure.
the Dunkin' Donuts, that would make sense, right? The Dunkin' Donuts and
Right.
everything.
And people going into the establishment must have masks as well.
I mean, I would think, yeah. I mean, I would think even if you don't want to wear one, you don't wear one for you so much. You wear one for the person behind the counter or standing next to you. It's,
Exactly.
you know, you're not wearing a mask to protect yourself. Maybe you don't care about the virus and you're one of those people that aren't worried about it.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's not, you know, that's sort of one of those things that just because you're not worried about it doesn't mean the person standing next to you isn't. And
That's right.
you could argue both sides. You know, you could argue, well, I'm not wearing one. My right to not wear one, and their right to not be in here if I'm not wearing one. But at the same time, I mean, is it really? You know, that's a tough line.
Yeah, it is.
What about the post office? People going into post office?
Right. I mean, I wear my mask everywhere I go, but
Also, yeah, that's a good question too. Well, you know, you want to also protect the people that are working there.
at the post office, right?
Yeah, they're handling mail. They're handling all this stuff. I would say.
I'm guessing they're wearing masks. I haven't been to the post office, but I'm guessing they got gloves and masks.
Yeah.
But what about people who go there, you know,
Yeah.
stay in line?
I think making
Yeah,
it so people entering businesses and the workers there all have to wear
Yeah.
one.
Entering business and working there. I mean, the thing is like I went to a store the other day and we were talking about what store should we go to. And one was like a small store where, you know, the aisles are wicked tight. They pack in as much stuff as they can into that store. And then the other store was bigger, open, 4-foot aisles, a lot more space to move around. And my thought was, well, let's go to the bigger store. You know, I mean, unfortunately for the little guy, but the bigger store is just more spread out and everything. You know, you walk up to the counter and it's all, they've hung plastic now, like, you know, sheets of plastic down from the ceiling. You slide your stuff underneath. It's they had lines, whereas the small store, you're pretty much, you know, this far away from the guy behind the counter, and then you're, you know, there's not enough room to be if you're 6 feet apart in like some of those stores, you can only have 3 people in them.
Yeah, I know.
You know, so I mean,
it's tough because you know you don't want to be too stringent on people because people have to make a living, but we have to be safe doing that too. So.
Is it safe to say that every resident has a mask?
Go ahead, Lori.
I was going to say, is it safe to say that every resident has a mask?
I don't know.
Now,
I
does it,
suppose if they need a mask, they would come see us, right? They would contact the Board of Health.
I don't know if we have,
You know, we have,
we don't have thousands of them. Yeah.
But
you know, there are people in Douglas who are donating masks, making the fabric, cotton masks, and they are advertising themselves and donating them to people who are would like one.
yeah, okay.
So there's
definitely
more ways to get them. We don't have enough to supply whole town, and
I think
unless
most. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
unless someone really has like some medical condition and needs some, but we have not enough supply to get to everyone.
Okay. I think that most people, just anybody that socializes at all, anybody that goes to the market, or most people have a mask.
I mean, I've been having a lot of people offer to make me one. So I know enough people that have just been saying, do you need one? Because I've been making them on my sewing machine or something, you know, it's.
Yeah.
Well, I'm assuming most people know somebody who is doing something like that, right? And
Right. And I think that if this was a regulation that we could enforce, I think that people would make sure that they got masks one way or another.
at least those little cloth ones, you just hang them on quick, and just to run in somewhere and run out, just so if you cough, it doesn't go anywhere, I guess, right? That's the idea.
Right. It's like you say, it's mainly to protect the other person.
Right. Right. It's not always about you.
Does everybody have that, the thing I sent this morning on the masks? Because there's certain, like you have to word it certain ways.
Oh, really?
You know, is it a regulation? Is it an advisory? Do you want to include the police in it to enforce it?
I see.
You have to explicitly mention police authority.
Can they enforce a regulation? That's the question. I mean, if we want to call it a regulation.
Emergency regulation, yep.
Emergency regulation, can they enforce that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so if we could make it a regulation then, emergency regulation.
Yes.
Is that what we want to do? Make an emergency regulation? Is that what the options are? I'm reading it right now.
Well, you can either do that or advise people.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we've been advising, right? I would say we've been advising wear masks, stay 6 feet apart. I think that's been
right. I mean, we can advise them or we can enforce it. You know, I mean, if we advise them, we can only say, well, you should wear a mask. You know, you can't really enforce it.
But we also have to, I think, say like what ages, like about little kids. You know, for who?
That's another thing. Yeah.
Kids or people with some medical conditions who cannot wear the mask, so we have to exclude those.
Agnieszka, what was the age?
You know what? I remember like seeing. I remember 4 and up or 5 and up. Yeah.
6 years old is what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And I know, like in Poland, the whole country, we have to wear a mask. The fines are so high that everybody. But I think they went like 4 years of age and older.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Dick, are you there?
He's here.
Oh.
Bob, I think whatever you do, whatever you write up, you're gonna have to pass by town council.
Yeah.
And so that'll take care of the issue of whether it's enforceable or not. The question is, do we want to have it an enforceable regulation.
Well, this says like there's a variety of possible responses and or penalties. Regulation may say the Board of Health can enforce, but then mandate only a warning or education class. Or the regulation may require that the Board of Health get an injunction or hold a hearing before imposing a fine.
Yeah.
In short, be clear about the method of enforcement. Typically, it will be a civil fine authorized by a procedure, which officers will recognize from their civil marijuana enforcement efforts.
Yeah, it says it would be a crime under disorderly conduct. It would be the last resort, criminal enforcement.
Yeah.
What about the option when we, like all people who handle food are mandated to wear masks, but the residents are urged to wear a mask? Is this something maybe
about
it's similar?
How about if people come within 6 feet of each other, they are to wear a mask?
It makes it complicated as soon as you change the word from advise to regulate. It makes a big difference.
Uh-huh. But like I would say those who handle the food should be mandated to wear a mask.
Yes. Yeah.
Because for the safety of others, but the rest of the residents, like being urged.
Yeah, I know. It's
a continuation of encouraging them to wear masks.
Yeah. So, if we see the signs on the highway, like all residents who enter Massachusetts are urged to quarantine for 14 days.
Yes.
But it's that they are not ordered, but urged to do that.
Right. Well, of course, when you're talking state of Massachusetts, you're talking a large area that has different populations in different areas. But for our town, for our little town, I would. It's a tough one. It's a tough call.
I know. I'm not opposed to it at all, but then again, I'm not opposed to it. So.
What I'm thinking about is the enforcement.
Right. It says you can, but do we want to make? That's a. Now cops got to do one more thing now. That's.
Yeah, and we have to do. It's our responsibilities too.
Takes people wearing masks. That's a hard thing, but
I think
if somebody's not, what's that?
I said, I think just a warning.
I think that's what it said. They would do a warning. They'd say, can you wear one, please? And then only if the person was like, no, screw you, I'm not wearing one, then there would be some sort of repercussion. It's not like a, it even said, like, obviously, as a reminder, the first, somebody would just say, could you please put one on? You're too close to people. It's too small of an area.
It has to be approved by town council. So
right.
You have to go through the process of doing that before we could enforce anything.
So maybe we write it up as everybody who prepares food, handles food is mandated to wear a mask, and then any residents who enter food establishment or something like that, where you
can always add to it, right?
Yeah.
Add to it. So why don't we initially we'll say, we advise people to wear masks, okay? And if we're not getting the response that we should get, or we're not getting the results that we should get, then we can go the next step. But at least we'll have something in place.
So do we want to mandate people who prepare and handle food and then just advise everybody else?
Well, if you regulate, if you make a regulation that people handling food, you have to be able to enforce that again.
Uh-huh.
What I'm saying is, let's just advise first of all, and if we see that it's not working, then we can move to the next step.
So send a letter to the food establishments advising that all the food handlers, anybody handling food
is advised to wear a mask. And anybody entering the facility has to wear a mask. Anybody handling food has to wear a mask. At least, or advised to wear a mask, I should say. At least we have something in place, and then we can, if we feel that we need to add to that, we can add to that.
Move to next level, well, if we need to.
Yes. How do you feel about that?
I would assume that if they think they should be wearing a mask, they already would be.
Mhm.
I think
Well,
you're
you
right.
never know.
No. But
Go
I would
ahead.
think, I mean, at this point, we all know what this thing is. And
Yeah.
I think if they were concerned, they would already be doing it.
Dick, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I don't want to get this discussion going 3 hours, but here's a thought for you. How often do I have to have a new face mask?
We're supposed to be reusing them, so I don't
Washing.
think you really need to, I don't think we need to mandate like new face masks.
No.
People handling food? So
I
they
mean,
can
I
wear it
wouldn't think so.
for
If it's cloth,
months?
you can wash it. If you're not getting cloth ones and like the surgical ones, I think it's up to your own discretion. You know, like
Right.
if you're not sneezing in it every day, then you really shouldn't have to change it that often.
Right. I mean, they get a little humid after a while, but
Right.
they last a while. But the cloth ones would be the way to go anyways. I mean, they're not really protecting you, like we say, but they're protecting other people against you. So,
Right.
and those you can just wash.
Right. Or you can put under ultraviolet light too.
Although at this point, if we're not making it mandatory that food prep
Yeah.
wears them,
Well, you know, I mean, there are people walking into markets all over the place that are wearing the same mask that they wore 2 months ago. So,
right. And I went to, I mean, the store the other day, and out of 20 people, there's at least 5 with no mask at all.
oh yeah, and you know it's actually more serious than some people think it is, because I was talking to a guy that I did a lot of work with, and he said two guys on a construction site came down with the virus, and they were fairly young guys. So it's out there, and you still have to be very cautious. As I'm sure Agnieszka can vouch for that. But yeah, it's serious. So, you know, you can't just say, well, you know, wear a mask or don't wear a mask, whatever.
Yeah, it's
But
serious.
let's getting back to this whole. Go ahead, Dick.
It's serious and it's not under control. So I think that we should do something which takes us another step forward. And to me, that's the food handlers need some better guidance. More
Okay, so
rigid guidance.
you're suggesting a regulation? Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. How do you feel about that, Corey?
I mean, I'm okay with mandating food prep
Yeah.
to wear a mask and just leaving it up to the owners whether residents are mandated, and then leave it up to the residents whether they want to
Yeah.
wear
Yeah.
one. But I'm
How you
fine
feel?
either. So I'm not ordering out. I mean, I haven't ordered out in a month.
Yeah.
But
How about
I
you, Em?
think if I knew food prep people were wearing masks and mandated to wear masks, I would probably be more apt to order out. That would make me feel better about ordering food from somewhere.
Yeah. How about you, Em? How do you feel? Emily?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So do you want to make a motion that we? Corey, you kind of laid it out pretty well.
How do we write this motion? I make a motion that we mandate establishments that people that in establishments that prepare food or handle food to wear masks while they're preparing or handling food.
Yeah. Okay.
And we can leave it up to the business owners whether or not to, make. I mean, I don't think that has to be part of the motion. Any recommendations, right? We don't have to motion that business owners make their own rules. They can just do that, I think.
No, yeah. Dick, you wanna?
I think that sounds
or
reasonable.
what?
I think that sounds reasonable. I would second that.
Now, what are you gonna do about the enforcement part of it?
Well, we're gonna have to go through the process. We can't really enforce it until it's been approved by town council, right?
Yes.
You're gonna have to write something in the regulation though about that.
So
we have
I guess if they're, I mean, I would say we go with the fine. It says here that they can do a fine. I mean, you know, we're not going to know if they're blatant behavior. This is like criminal blatant behavior is like a punishable thing. I mean, but if you walk into a food place, pick up your grinder and you know, I mean, a lot of it's, yeah, we're going to make a mandate, but who's going to catch the guy in the back of the kitchen not wearing a mask?
So
Right.
are you
Well-
are you placing enforcement responsibilities on the police? Is that what you're
Or
doing?
It's not really on the police. I mean, the police are enforcing it, but
Well, we can make them be the ones to do it, though, it said. We
Yeah,
did
but
that
it has to be
people.
specific and in writing, that's all.
Right.
I think any member of the Board of Health should have that authority.
I don't want to get into policing myself.
No, but if you walk in and you see food being prepared and no mask, you can do an
Yeah, I
easy.
know, you can mention it to them, certainly. I mean, we have similar situations up at the transfer station where people are going up there wearing nothing, you know, and unprotected. And, I mean, the way that they handle it up there is they suggest, you know, you should have a mask on and this and that.
Yes,
But that's not handling food either.
And this is open space too.
Open space, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it says a lot of towns are only mandating for like citizens in public buildings. Like that's a big one, just public buildings. But
I think, you know what I think? I think we need some input from council before we even vote on this.
I don't know how many towns, I don't know if there's that many that are mandating it right now. I think most of them are going along with what the governor and commissioner are just advising,
Right, right. They're kind of going by the state guidelines.
buying what the state guidelines are.
Yeah.
And if
yeah.
that changes, then it changes.
Well, maybe that's why I feel maybe we should just, you know, go by the state guidelines for now. If it's not enforced, if it's not being enforced, I mean, not enforced, but if it's not being carried out by these employers or these food people, then we can go the next step.
If you want, you could send something to each business
Yes.
advising them that the food
Yes.
handlers,
Yes. I think that's a better way to go. I really do. I mean, that's my opinion.
then we don't have to worry about the enforcement piece because the enforcement piece is hard. I mean, we can say that the cops
It is
have to
hard.
be
It is hard.
kind of responsible for that.
We have to get counsel on that. We can't just do it. We have to get counsel on it.
Right, they would have to approve it. I mean, and they would talk about what the enforcement would be,
Right.
or what that would look like. But
And
that's hard. How do you? And the first thing is education too. The first thing as a penalty, it says like should always be to educate. It was like I mean,
Yes,
what do you
yes.
do? Mandate them on a PPE class? Make them take OSHA?
That's right.
I mean,
That's right.
I would think that if we wrote to the owners of the businesses and asked them to advise it, I think they would do that.
I think you're right. I do.
I-
I think you're right. I think you're right.
If the owner's telling the employees that
Yeah.
they're advising them to do it, then
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think that's a better way to go myself, yeah.
and then like you said, you can always change it if it's not working or
We can always
Right.
go to the next step, yeah. I think, you know, first of all, the next step would be to enforce it, right? And to enforce it, we'd have to have legal verbiage. We'd have to have the right language, you know, to make a motion on it. And in order to do that, we should check with council. If we have a problem, if it's not being, you know, if these businesses are not complying then we can go to that next step.
What does Matt say about it?
How's that?
What does Matt say about it? Anybody talk to Matt Wojcik down at the town hall?
Not at all. I haven't.
Have you talked to him at all?
Dick, did you talk to him?
I did not.
No?
Yeah, Dick, you're in the EOC. No word about this?
Whatever the EOC is, right?
Yeah.
There was one meeting way back when. As far as I know, nothing has happened since.
Is that right?
Nothing has happened since.
I think they have
Wow.
a meeting every week.
Yeah, yeah.
EOC has a meeting every week.
I
Okay,
believe
so- Why don't we make a motion to,
You're just not notified about it, I guess.
Evidently.
I'm not sure, but I think,
I will follow up.
You must not be essential in that.
There you go.
so why don't we make a motion to notify these owners, or these, food vendors that, we are, we'll send out notification, stating that, all food prep employees, should be wearing masks.
Yeah, let's find out what Matt thinks about it.
Come again?
I'd say let's do that. Let's do a recommendation, send a letter out to
Okay.
everybody and ask Matt what he thinks about it. Have Dick find out Matt's view on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's got a he's a pretty smart guy and he's
Yeah, he
pretty
is.
on top of this. I mean, he seems to be sort of steering the boat, so.
Yep. Okay,
Do you want me to draft that letter and circulate it amongst you tomorrow? And then we'll take it to
yeah,
Matt?
that would be fine.
Yeah, just a brief one. I would just ask him his
Get it
thoughts
to
on it,
Kristen.
you know?
Yeah, get it to Kristen, we can look it over, all of us, and, yeah, that'll be fine.
I mean, that way at least he's on the same page. Because if we do something and he just comes back and says, no, you can't do that. Another,
Right.
So just have him make the decision. I would do that.
Yeah,
Get his
I
opinion on
might
it.
take a run up there tomorrow and talk to him.
Yeah, get his opinion on it and see.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so can we have a motion on that?
To send a letter out? Do we even need to make a motion just to send a letter out?
Well, just because we're
Yeah, we're doing some act. All right, I'll make a motion. That
making
we send a letter of recommendation out to all food prep businesses in town that they wear PPE, proper PPE when preparing food or handling food for residents.
And that would include the farm stand, that would include anyone preparing food for any group,
absolutely, yeah,
whether it's home business or otherwise.
right.
Okay.
Yep. I think so.
Was that a motion?
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
I guess that motion passes. Okay, we can finally move on to facial coverings. I think we did.
Yeah.
Didn't we cover that?
Yeah. Oh, good. All right,
We had 2 for 1 on that one.
we're flying.
Yeah, we're flying. There's a lot to take into consideration here too,
Yeah.
Okay, so now we have solid waste, and we have the. Let me put my glasses on. I can't even see.
the cost analysis.
Yeah, okay, the analysis.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I wanted to do is first, before the analysis, I wanted to talk about the extension of the contract.
Yep.
Probably get that cleared up a little bit, and we're going to have to start focusing on that more.
I spoke to Matt about that and he had to contact legal counsel and I've not heard back from him. So,
Okay, that's another reason why I should go see him tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. But have we spoken to the contract at DP? Have we spoken to them about anything? Have they contacted us?
BP?
BP, that's right.
No, because I don't know. I didn't know what to say to them because I don't know if we can do it.
Okay. So maybe what I'll have to do is I'll have to contact them. I'll give them a call And I'll meet with Matt.
Yeah, see what
first.
Matt said. I don't know, like he was gonna ask if we can even extend it. I don't know.
I'll meet with him tomorrow, hopefully, and we'll go from there.
Okay.
That's all I can do. But we've got to do something. We've got to act on that.
Quickly, yes.
Yep. So that's kind of urgent. I meet with Matt. Okay, next is Dick. You're the star of the show.
Yeah, what I did is I took the January invoice from BP and looked at it differently. And I put it in the, I don't know whether everyone has that Excel spreadsheet in front of them.
I had it, but I lost it.
All right, what jumped out at me is for each of the containers that we use for recycling,
Yep.
we spent $160 to dispose of the contents.
Right.
And the two compacting units, same size,
Yep.
when we disposed of them, we were in the $700 or $800 more category. So the 160 plus $700 or $800 to dispose of the compacted waste.
That's because of the tonnage, right?
What's interesting is they don't charge you for tonnage on the recycling. They just charge you for disposing of it.
I
So
see.
I wasn't able to come up with a weight comparison. I can only come up with a dollar comparison.
I see.
So what I'm saying is,
It's not being compacted. I mean, the tonnage is next to nothing.
yeah, I suppose.
Yeah, like the plastic and that type of thing. You know, I mean that's next to nothing.
Right.
It's just trips, just space.
Right.
So by our decision of, I don't know, a couple of months ago to compact everything, we should have increased our costs substantially by thousands of dollars would be my guess each month. And it is a guess.
Yeah, we haven't seen that. Fact, that's not factual yet.
Do we have any billing for March or April yet? Not April.
Not April, no. That's the one that's gonna be the interesting one.
Yeah, that's the one that we're going to really have to look at.
Yeah, we'll have to, I mean, at some point we can start opening recycling back up just a little bit at a time. I mean, we can stay away from plastics because like you say, those are just space and air.
Yeah, but I think plastics are fine, metal's fine, glass, oh, by the way, we're also paying more to have glass recycled than we are to compact it.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
And that jumped out also. We're paying $100 a ton for glass. So why recycle?
Yeah,
Costing you more to recycle.
right.
People, to recycle.
So we can, like, in the next billing period, we can probably see a little more clearly.
And we need to look at March.
Oh,
Yeah, another month from now.
what's that?
Chicken.
What's that, Dick?
I didn't hear you, Corey.
I said another month from now, we may be able to start reopening things.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's what we'd like to look at anyway. But we'll get a better idea as to how we should go forward. You know, once we get that billing, once that billing comes in.
So Kristen, as soon as you get March, let out a yell, okay?
April, you
Yeah.
mean?
April.
March.
Yeah.
We haven't been recycling in March at all, have we?
In March we did.
Yeah, we were.
About halfway, I think.
All right, then we should see a difference. It's halfway.
Kristen, at the beginning of March, we were recycling, right?
I can't remember when we started. I think it was towards the end we started this. It was,
Oh, okay.
It's got to be in the minutes because we made a motion.
yeah, it was probably the last week or week and a half before March ended.
Okay. April will
Okay.
really be the best
Yeah.
one to.
Yeah, that'll be a big one.
Okay,
All right.
folks. We all set with that?
All set, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That was a good job. Okay, so we have that. We have, next on the agenda, we have health agent update.
The only update really I have right now is that what I had going on Linden Street seems to finally be getting resolved between the owners and tenants. I've seen a lot of really good progress. So that's really good news.
Good. Good.
Yep.
So they're taking it more serious. Now, is that the one with the wood pellet stove?
Right.
And what are they doing about it exactly?
They noticed they were over there for like a flood in the basement, and that's when they were able to take a look at, they also have like I think a boiler, because they also have radiant floors in the kitchen. And they were able to, they noticed like a discrepancy. It was only heating to like 107 degrees instead of 130. So we're fixing something with that, and they're also going to be putting in baseboards in the master bedroom and the upstairs bedroom.
Okay. Well, that's good.
Yep.
That's good. Yep. Okay, so, and we also, I did take a look at the place on
Oh yeah, Mumford Street.
Road, 100 Mumford Street. And Emily and I both took a look at that situation. Kristen, you sent out the letter, did you?
Yep, and we got it signed card back.
Okay, so we did send a letter out to that person, and they should be, well, I hope I get some kind of response anyhow, because they haven't been responding to my calls at all. And Emily, was that the first time you've been out there, or?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's a thing that's been going on for years, not months, years. And, normally I'd say, oh, the person next door, she's probably making a big thing out of nothing. But I actually was there, and I saw the smoke, the way it travels, and it does travel very low, and it goes across his property and into her property. And it's pretty strong stuff. But the main thing was that he's been burning pallets, and God only knows what else he's been burning. So in that letter that we sent out, we had mentioned that he should be burning nothing but good, seasoned wood, hardwood, seasoned wood. And what else did we say in that letter, Kristen?
Does he have to have an inspection?
Oh yeah, every year be inspected. He can count on the unit being inspected every year, because he had exposed wiring, he had exposed piping. It was the stack that he had, the smokestack was installed incorrectly. It was installed backwards, upside down, causing creosote to drip down on the outside of the stack. It was kind of a messy situation.
Other than that, it was okay?
I'm sorry?
Other than that, it was okay?
Yeah, other than that, it was great. But it could have been worse.
The smokestack was upside down? I didn't even notice that when I inspected it.
Yeah, the smokestack was upside down.
I didn't even notice that. And there was plenty of stuff to write about last time.
Yeah, but anyway, that's where we are with that. So the other thing I wanted to ask you, Emily, is the house, the chicken wing house.
Yeah, that's already, for now I'm delaying that. I don't really want to go there and deal with it. So I already sent a letter, and I talked with them, and they told me they did stop cooking. And when I sent the letter, I was just telling them why they have to stop, and if they have any questions to call me back.
I'm sure that'll be enough once somebody was on to them.
Yeah, and I know they talked to Mark too. So.
Yeah. So we just let it go?
I think for now, at least, if anything later, I can check on them.
Okay. All right. As long as they comply, I mean, it's kind of I have the way I like to do it is I like to go after because you laugh, but you know, that's a real serious thing.
Somebody ate that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that's a serious thing.
Right. Somebody thought that they were eating good chicken wings prepared correctly.
Yeah, exactly. They probably fell on the floor and God only knows what else.
Right.
Mhm.
It's just
That's
awful.
real bad.
It's just
But
awful.
you know what? Is there a way to find out where the food was going? Can he give this
I don't
information?
care.
Because
Igniska, I don't care if that food was going from the basement to the first floor. It was awful.
I know, but you know what?
We would like to know who he was preparing it for.
But certainly if they sold it, I mean, that is just unbelievable.
No, you know, I would be afraid give it to my dog.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I
I'd like to know where
mean,
it's going.
if you feel that that's okay to leave it, we'll leave it. But
I think just for now, I don't want to go into their house. So in a couple of weeks, if I can go in, then maybe I'll let them know. I'm gonna stop by and just look at everything.
again, if you don't, if you want me to go with you, I'll be happy to go. So
Okay.
Now that you're in contact with
I just
Yeah.
want to let you know that those people have a lot of time on their hands right now, so
yeah.
maybe they don't cook extra.
Okay. Whatever you decide, Emily, is fine. Okay.
Okay.
I think the building department issued didn't they issue something to stop them?
I think I
don't
sent them
know.
something, but then they left it up to me.
Well, the building department could because of
It's
you
zoning.
know,
Yeah, he
they've
did it.
got they've got LP gas in there. They're cooking. I mean, it's a fire hazard. To me, it would be a fire hazard as well.
Yeah, I mean, the fire department was in there.
Yeah, not to mention that they're doing commercial, selling this product with no licenses and no inspections. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah, Mark wrote a letter telling him to stop, so.
Is the food inspector involved with this?
He hasn't been yet because
inspector.
it's
He
not
shouldn't
actually a
be-
residential kitchen, so that's why I sent him the letter first.
You know, it's a good thing somebody stumbled over this because it would have been awful if they would have continued doing that.
Yeah.
But anyhow, if they cease to do that, then that's fine. We'll let it be. But like I say, Emily, that's your call.
Yeah, I just think for now I don't want to go into their house.
Yeah.
So we can pick it up later.
Okay. Anybody else? Okay, so that's the health agent update. We have transfer station discussion. We've had issues with two of our employees up there that have been, taking leave. They've been taking leave from their duties because of, for whatever reason. I guess one person has had some serious nasal issues or sinus issues. I don't know exactly how to word it, but we ran kind of with three guys up there, and it was kind of difficult. What happened is Dick, not this Dick, the other Dick, he kind of he was kind of filling in for the absence of these two guys. So he ended up putting in many more hours than he had to. So not that he had to, he did it because he had to do it.
Right. We stepped up.
So yeah, I mean, it's something that we've got to look at because I think we're gonna have to hire maybe an alternate to fill in here and there.
I mean, how long can we allow them to not go to work and still have a job for them when they decide?
It's kind of hard to say, you know, did Matt bring in a letter from the doctor, a doctor's note?
He did get one. I don't have it yet, but he did get one. They're both back to work.
Yeah, they're both back to work. Actually, Ron took kind of like a leave of absence because his wife, she's had health issues, and he wanted to kind of stay home and protect her, which I can understand.
So they are both working again now?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, so we're back to full?
Yeah.
Hmm?
I'm sorry?
We're back to full again?
We're back to, well, yeah, we're back to full, but we're trying to fit Bert into the chemistry of it all, because he was decent enough to fill in for these two guys. He did a great job himself. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Bert, but
Yeah.
he's a good man, and he did a very good job, and we don't want to leave him hanging, because he had a job at Walmart, and he left that job to cover for these guys. So
yeah, can we work into the rotation?
He's on board. So we're kind of making a rotating schedule with those three, you know.
That's fair.
Yep, I think so. I think that's fair. The other issue is there was there was some vandalism up there. I don't know who exactly got into the inside of the fence, but they did some spray painting on one of the outbuildings. So it's nothing serious. It's just that we had to report it to the police, and they
didn't get on camera?
They couldn't pick it up on camera, no. So, you know, like, it could be a lot of different things. A lot of kids are out of school right now, and
I'm surprised they were smart enough to not walk in front of a camera.
I don't know if they were smart enough to realize that there were cameras there, but I think that it's just too remote, you know, to see. I guess the camera was too far away, and they couldn't really pick it up, you know.
Yeah, it was too hard.
Yeah, but anyway, that's just to let you know. Any other issues up there? Anything else that anybody wants to add to that?
Only the one of the memo that Kristen sent out regarding the EnviroTrack and some of the issues that we need to resolve up there.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that. What was it?
I'm trying to phrase it. Kristen, help me here.
It was in response, well, you're talking about the monitoring wells?
Correct.
Oh, the wells.
Yeah. So I
And
sent an email that I forwarded to the company that does the testing,
right.
asking them, I sent them the letter, asking them to look at it and let us know what needs to be tested.
Okay. They also talked about some regrading possibly. And then there's the testing of the effluent coming from a different location than what we were doing.
Right. So I wanted to know if you wanted them to go ahead and do that testing.
Yeah, we decided, didn't we, that we were going to have him do the testing?
They already did the March testing.
They did, yeah.
Yep. So this is going to be in addition to.
Yeah.
So just go ahead and let them.
I would say go ahead, yeah.
Okay.
You got to get it done anyhow. Now, how about the DEP?
Well, that's for this. That's what this is for.
That's for
Yeah.
this, yeah, okay. So once this is done, then we can send the results to DEP, right?
Yeah, they'll send it. I think they send it
Oh,
automatically.
they'll send
Yeah.
it, okay.
What about the potential regrading? How do we deal with that?
Well, if it's potential, I say we don't deal with it yet.
That's right,
Well,
yeah.
It was in the DEP memo.
Let's one thing at a time. I think let's
Okay.
cross that bridge when we get to it.
Yeah.
I think let's
Well,
they
let's
asked
see.
a lot, you know. That
Well-
letter had a lot of hits on it. So I think having them do that other testing, send those results back. There's one check, right? And then we can reassess it.
I can't remember if I sent that to Bruce. I don't remember. I'll have to look tomorrow,
Yeah, I
but
think you did.
yeah, to the, he's the inspector for the landfill.
Right.
Yeah, I remember seeing something about that.
Did I send it to him? I honestly don't remember, but I'll tell you, because I'm sure that's something he's gonna look at too when he goes out there
Right.
to do his inspection, which is due soon.
Now, Highway helped us out with that last time we had a problem with it, right? Or
Yeah,
did it? Or was it just the wet season and it dried up? I don't remember.
no, they did something, yeah.
So I mean, maybe it'll be that simple of a fix again. You know, maybe we
Yeah.
can just have them help us out with it.
That would be nice.
But Bob's downwind, so if it's an actual problem, we should probably.
Yeah,
You know.
I'll
Yeah.
intercept. I will intercept. Okay, so that covers the transfer station.
Yep.
And we have the minutes, and we have minutes for, is it March? No, I'm sorry. January, February, March?
No, we have 2 in March and 1 in April.
2 in March. Oh, 2 in March, 1 in April, right?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We approve the meeting minutes for. Do I have to say the exact dates? For April 6th,
March 30th.
March 18th, March 30th. Those
I
dates.
second that, but I need to make a comment too.
Okay.
Okay.
April 6th, one of the paragraphs starts off with MRS Skinner.
And
It
so
wasn't the better half, huh?
What are you saying? What's wrong with that?
I really am a guy. It's okay.
It starts off with that?
It does. It does. I seen it right away, but I didn't think Dick would mind.
But you chose to overlook it, huh?
I don't even see it. I'll find it.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny. Sorry about that.
She wasn't there at that meeting.
Yeah. All right.
You have a motion and a second, Bob.
Uh-oh. We lost volume on Bob.
No, it looks like Kristen is frozen.
Oh yeah, Kristen's frozen. Oh no. Oh no. Uh-oh. Our connection to Bob has froze.
Oh,
Bob, we can't hear anything you're saying.
It must just be Kristen's Wi-Fi.
Oh, she's totally froze.
what happened to Kristen?
She's frozen. You know what? This happened to me earlier, and Zoom kicked me out, and I had to come back into it.
We were just about to end.
I know why.
Well,
Oh,
not
yeah,
really.
she just left.
There she
She'll come
goes.
back. She'll come back, and when she comes back, it'll be fine.
All right, I have 2 items I'd like to discuss. Nod your head if you're okay with it, Bob.
Well, we don't know what Bob thinks.
Apparently he can't hear me either.
Let's just give Kristen a second.
Yep. You know, technology is a wonderful thing.
Better when it works, right? She must be having some serious internet problems then.
Whoop.
There you go.
Hey,
Hi,
Kristen.
Alfred.
Sorry about that.
Okay, all in favor?
I took Bob with me.
Yeah, can you bring Bob back now?
Okay,
So we are at all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
All in favor.
Oh my God, happened
Kristen,
again.
are you
Oh
moving again?
no.
We all got frozen.
I know we're getting glitchy here.
here we go.
All right.
Call it quits, quick.
I have a note that says the internet connection is unstable. No kidding.
Yeah, adjourn.
Are we ready to leave?
No.
Okay, so the minutes have been approved. We have open session, any topic, anything? Anyone
I
would
have
like to
two.
add to this, or?
Bob, I have two. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, I have two I'd like to talk about. I started
Okay.
drafting a memo that I called Reopening Douglas 2020.
Uh-huh.
We are going to get guidance from the state on what to do and how, when to open, but I don't think it's going to be detailed enough for us to guide people. For example, a barber is different than a church, which is different than the library, which is different from small and large restaurants and food serving. So I'm saying that it needs to be flexible enough to deal with all of that. So I've started drafting that memo and I'd like to circulate it for comments. And then what I think we should do is we should involve the people who are going to be reopening, staying opening, reopening, whatever form it takes, and getting them to comment on it and being prepared when the state says go, that they can go.
I think that I had spoken to Kristen earlier, and she has kind of a relationship with the Northbridge people, and they've been very helpful to us. They're really giving us good guidance, so maybe we can take it from them. I don't know. Just a suggestion, but how do you feel about that, Kristen?
I can certainly ask what the other towns are doing
Yeah.
that I
yeah,
speak to.
Yeah. But it's not a bad idea. I mean, we'll keep that in mind for sure.
Yeah, regardless of what Northbridge is doing, I think we need to sit down with the people who are going to be making the decisions, the pastors of the church, the leader, the owners of restaurants, the head of the library. Each of those is going to be different in how they open. So I think we need to involve them rather than dump a regulation on them.
Well, I mean, that involves contacting every business in town.
We'll just see what the state
Yeah, right.
comes, what happens when it's time to do that and what they're saying.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there are some givens the state will come out with, and then there are details after that. For instance, how do you sit in a church with a family versus strangers? And if you're going to maintain the 6-foot distance, which I believe is going to be one of the criteria, how do you do that? How do you do a barber shop with the people who are not in the barber shop who are waiting? How do you deal with them?
I think the state's going to come out with guidelines for all that.
Yeah, I think we should not go too fast and just see what the state's gonna say, because I think they're
Right.
gonna be very thorough in what they release.
Yeah, wait in your car. Come when they're
Okay.
called.
Right.
We'll shoot you a text.
Yeah.
Okay. I hear you, but I don't agree with you. We'll see.
And I also feel that, again, with the contacts that we have with Northbridge and maybe even Uxbridge and surrounding towns, we'll see what they're going to do as well. And
Agreed.
I think they're going to probably pretty much follow the guidelines of the state anyway. But people are out there, especially people with businesses. They can't wait to start up. But
I know, and that's why we'd like to. My feeling is I'd like to see them ready before we get the state guidelines, and then the state guidelines can be the rules.
Right.
Uh,
We gotta really think about that then.
yeah, right now I think we're going to follow the state.
Okay.
That's the way we're going to go.
All right. The last item I have is
Yep.
grants from the state, money grants from the state.
Oh
I've
yeah.
been watching that for about a year now. They've got one for reduce, reuse, and repair. And I can make some kind of proposal on that if we choose to go that route. Right now, we're not doing any recycling, so going for a grant doesn't make sense, but I believe we will be back recycling. And the
Oh,
grant,
yeah, we'll be back. Yeah. We'll be back.
so I
Yeah,
can
hopefully
draft
by summer.
something.
Well,
Yeah, I
if
can
you're
draft
interested,
something.
you can, if you want to go for it, gather up your information.
Yeah, my proposal would be I would draft something and pass it by the crew, the Board of Health members, and then we take it from there.
What type of grant are you going for? What would the grant be for?
Reduce, reuse, repair.
Just for the transfer station, the recycling center of it, or?
The answer is yes and no, but mostly yes.
I'm sure there's some specific rules to what type of things you can use those monies for.
But depending on how you write the grant, yeah.
It's pretty loose. It's pretty loose. So let me do something and get it circulate amongst the Board of Health members.
Yeah, I mean, we would have to think about the things about the recycle center that we would want to change
Well,
and have an
sometimes,
avenue for.
yeah, with the grants, they give you a list of things that you choose from as far as what you're getting.
Well, how about improvement, like, transfer station improvements? We talked about the wall. We talked about,
Packing.
different,
A packer
Yeah.
for the recyclables.
right.
So
Does
what
we
was
get
that-
grant money to pay for that?
Maybe something on that line.
what did you say, Corey? I missed the word.
I said, I mean, that would be great if we could get the grant to pay for part of the packing, a packer for the recyclables.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I mean, that's going to be a big hit, running all that electrical and everything.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, it will, but you know what? I mean, it's not impossible.
No,
It's not impossible, and it can be done, and it's done every day. These things can be done. You just have to get into it and do it.
right.
Yeah.
It's just money.
I feel strong about that because I think it's going to add to this transfer station, and also I think that the town is growing very quickly, and pretty soon we're going to have to make some sort of a move to give us more. I don't know, different method, maybe different, bigger area to not recycle, but to just get rid of our trash. It's very, very busy up there on Saturdays. Even during the week, it's been very busy. So.
Oh, yeah, there's a lot we can do up there. So I think,
Yeah.
we just got to be
It's not looking
specific
at
about
it
what the
serious, though, really.
right.
But anyway,
Know what the money's for.
hey, Chris,
Uh-oh.
at any time, we should really try to get together, in the resource room at some point, because it's difficult online like this. Agree? Hello?
Yeah,
We're probably getting there. We're probably getting close.
Do you have difficulty, Corey? Do you have any problem with coming up to the municipal center?
Well, as of right now, we don't leave the house yet, but
Okay, all right.
I would think a couple more weeks and we might start moving around more.
All right, let me know, and then we'll schedule a meeting so we can really, hash out some of this stuff.
I know we get a lot of things where we get need to really sit
With the
down.
contracts, with the contract coming up and everything else.
That's a big one, especially if we're not able to bump it a few months. If we have to work out the contract, we're gonna have to jump on that quick.
Right. Okay, is there anything else? Okay, we have a motion to adjourn.
Are we setting a time and date for the next meeting, or is that as
Yeah.
needed?
Oh, yeah, we'll set a date.
I think we're still every day at 5, right?
well, I canceled all those because it's
Yeah,
getting
it's
too
too much. We don't need to.
Because I gotta cancel with Chris Furno and Pat doesn't know if we're ever having meetings, and
Yeah, it's too much.
it's too much. I just stopped it as of tomorrow.
Should we
No,
just?
we're good. I
really
think all the
wait until we
systems
need
are
one?
fine. We're running.
We can just do one as needed at this point.
Yeah, I think so.
That's fine.
All right,
All right, I move we adjourn.
okay.
Okay,
Second.
make a motion. Okay,
Dick, yep, Dick made a motion.
I did.
second,
Corey.
okay,
Okay,
meeting's adjourned.
I'll see you tomorrow, Bob.